Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Casting Dad. I'm Matt.
And I'm David.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 8, Episode 4, Some Guy.
And Yet I Smile.
Oh, yes. Is this a classic Ezekiel line?
Yet I smile.
Oh, yeah. So he had a little bit of a falling out with his character in this episode. Finally, we saw him break a little bit. We knew it was coming because it was... he was a little too cocky in the last episode.
From the beginning of this episode, you saw when he was giving his speech, he was actually very nervous.
Yeah?
He was breaking a bit.
I didn't catch that at all. I saw he was at his peak at this.
Oh, man. Well, I know what moment you're talking about, but as he's giving his speech, because he was even tearing up as he was saying, "Yet I smile," because he used that line at least, say, 7 times.
Yes.
See, the first 3, he was tearing up a bit, getting a little nervous. Then when he routed up the crowd and said, "We are one" at the end, that's when it was at his peak, when he just basically collected everything and just. But I sensed that there was an insecurity before that.
Yeah. Well, we got to see a bit of that. You know what? Let's get into the episode proper.
Absolutely.
But first, let's just say, what did you think of this episode, David?
This is the first episode I liked this season.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I mean, I like some of the other episodes. I enjoyed watching them. I've enjoyed watching all of them, but they all left a kind of sour taste in my mouth, a very burnt toast taste in my mouth. And this one was the first one. Was like, you know what? This toast was kind of perfect.
So toast is sour to you when it's
well, I changed it. I updated it. Sour is not the right expression, not the right taste.
I honestly have gained mostly nothing from the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
And this is the only one where I feel like, okay, as much as it was a principal character, like they actually addressed every single storyline and they've gone somewhere with it. There was progression.
Yeah.
No filler. I felt like it was all development. Mm-hmm. And we saw the depths of a character that we didn't think we'd see in a way,
Yeah, and one that I didn't even think I cared to see. And I did end up having feelings about it,
Yeah.
I felt like they actually got to me.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought it was just a lost cause. When I saw this episode open, I saw the Ezekiel flashback.
Right.
I was ready to hate it.
Oh, man.
I was just ready to oh my God, I don't want to talk about how much I hate this episode. I don't want to keep talking about how much I am not enjoying The Walking Dead. And, they fooled me.
The editors got it right this time. No cross to black, dip to black.
That's the thing.
Or like
First
close-ups.
I'm still saying dip to black.
No, dip to black
Not
exists.
a thing.
It is.
But ready to hate this flashback. And then the flashback was actually, it was needed.
It was useful.
It was perfect for the...
Very useful.
For the transition
That's
that they
right.
did. And, we see him out of his usual garb. I thought it was maybe going to be just a whole Ezekiel flashback episode where we see him working at the zoo and saving Shiva.
I thought it was an origin story, right?
Yeah, and I did not need to see that.
No, me neither. I was like, pre Ezekiel instead of King Ezekiel.
So it was just him giving a really rousing speech. You seemed to think he was cracking under the pressure of it, and I thought he was giving it his all.
I mean, I feel like if you want to check it just for fun afterwards, just you look at the way he starts at first. He's very nervous at first because don't forget he's looking at everybody in the village.
Well, he's trying to impress Carol too.
Oh yeah, there's that pressure as well, and then the fact that he's seeing all the husbands saying goodbye to their wives, the fathers saying goodbye to their children, and he's kind of sulking that in. And so just, that risk is like at the back of his head as he's giving that speech. And then near the end of it, when he says we're one, it ends well. And then we see how it's turned out afterwards.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's setting himself up for disaster here or for failure, because there's no way, unless he actually doesn't lose one man or woman, he's going to come home and people are going to be upset with him because he
only
pretty much
says that
assured everybody.
But he only says that amongst the soldiers that he's with, not with the ones that are at home.
Yeah.
He says that amongst them. Well, that's encouraging for them.
Yeah, but he was real optimistic back at home too.
Right.
So.
But one part of his speech he says is like, we will have to fight those that may be cornered in a situation, and those who are just who have bloodlust, but they all have to die. And so it's like he understands what the what the division between I don't know. I think he wouldn't be with the whole before the whole prisoner of war thing that's been going on with Jesus. And,
no, he understands.
He understands this is war.
He got a little notch of respect from me for that speech.
I agree.
So it was good, and we got to see him. So we know that it's more than just an act for him.
Right.
But we could still see him without his kingly attire, without his,
Right.
when he's just some guy.
Or coming together,
in his undershirt, just checking himself in the mirror, being like, okay, am I ready for my people?
Right.
And then just that transition of everybody coming and cheering, holding on to him, like just grabbing at him like he was, as he is their king,
Right.
just really wanting to be around him. And then the transition of all the bodies over him.
Yeah.
And him seemingly being the only person left alive after that shootout from the last episode.
And it was just so tense when he first gets out of that pile of bodies, because you're thinking, like, the first thing I think is like, they're gonna turn into walkers. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, it's like if you were passed out, I don't know exactly what happened, but you don't have much time.
No, you don't. And every single person's different, right? So for him, but he's still in shock after what happened.
Yeah, and got shot in the leg, I imagine.
I think so. What else? Because that's a strong gun. That takes a chunk of your leg if it hits you a certain way.
Mowed down everybody except for like one guy.
It was Rambo 4.
Yeah, I don't know where that one guy who came to save him later was hiding.
Yeah,
but
he could have taken cover behind something for sure.
Yeah, maybe, but it took him quite a while before he came out to Ezekiel's aid.
Maybe
kind of waited till the most theatrical moment.
He probably didn't know he was out, but maybe we do have to suspend
his disbelief. King. He should have been dead on top of the pile of bodies.
Yeah, I know. There was a lot of people. There was a lot because there was like 2 or 3 people that jumped him actually on the end of the episode. We didn't imagine there was like so many people.
Yeah.
I guess they all just wanted to do it, which signifies something, I guess. But they actually could have ended badly for him.
Yeah. But I just I don't know if some people thought it was cheesy or what, but I just thought that was a really nice transition. Completely paid off the little flashback we had, because I was like, we don't need to see another speech. Another flashback. Like, we know that they're at war. We know it didn't end well. So why are we seeing this? And it was just for that moment. And it was for the payoff at the end, too.
I think it completed the entire episode. Everything you're thinking about, the fact that he promised that they were going to go into victory and, and take down the enemy, and now just didn't deliver because he lost everybody. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. We see what the cost is.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
And the violence here, like just the gore, the body parts, like this gun just mowed off people's arms and legs and just split people in half, and it was
close to Rambo 4.
Yeah, exactly. And
very close.
And it's so much more horrific when you see it as human bodies and not zombie bodies, walker bodies. Just you see it in a different light, I guess. And
Nicotero directed this one, of course.
Did he direct this one? I'm usually not impressed with his
first 3 direction. His first 3, no. Like he's directed every single one so far.
Oh, so far, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I believe I'd have to check again, but I'm pretty sure I believe he did.
Okay. The only part that like really rings true to Nicotero in this would be the toxic waste.
Oh yeah,
at the
that
end.
Was good.
But that actually wasn't terrible, because he's done different set pieces that I thought were just horrible.
The sandpit.
The sandpit, but remember back in the Governor episodes where...
Which one?
One of the Governor episodes where they're trying to drive at night, leave the little camp that they were at, but there were a bunch of walkers in like quicksand, or a bunch of walkers in like a deep puddle. I'm not entirely sure what it was. It was weird, and it was for no other reason than just like it looked cool.
Besides the toxic waste ones, I think the best like walker surprise was season 4, episode 1 premiere, where they're coming through the roof.
Yeah, that was good.
I like that one.
Exploding bodies on the floor.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And the water-logged ones under the...
Oh, yeah.
I think that was also in the same season.
It was.
Yeah, they were pretty good. But this one I found was, I'm surprised they haven't done this. Z Nation did this very early on.
They've done it in every single episode. They always presented a situation where, like, zombies being in a very, like, very awkward... It's kind of like a Sharknado for zombies in a way. I think they had a zombie-nado in a way, didn't
probably, they? Yeah. But this... I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to it, towards the end of the episode. But I do want to say now that, in case I forget later, but this was the first time in a long time that seeing walkers actually kind of scared me, kind of made me feel at some unrest.
Right, and it should be,
because they're in a pit. It's one of them is injured.
They're up against the wall,
and there are a bunch of like toxic looking walkers.
Like,
you don't want to get around that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't bite you, but they're still going to pass some kind of infection on.
Oh, yeah. They'll scratch you something. I'm pretty sure scratching you could actually...
Oh, yeah, scratching would do it. But I'm just mean like the radioactivity.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
It would be a really cool... You'd be like the Toxic Avenger.
Or you would just be dead.
I would say Toxic Avenger. I'm
okay, well,
it served well for some people.
I'm not going to take that risk.
You just need a mop.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves here because... amongst all these body parts, Ezekiel is just checking all of them, hoping for some sign of life. And There's nothing. It's just we didn't really get to know any of these people, so it wasn't very sad
but they
or
followed
effective
him.
for us. But it was just the fact that Ezekiel knew these people.
Exactly, but they followed him there, and that's where like we still buy into the empathy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we see, I believe at one point we see one of his soldiers who had the little flower
Oh
in
yeah,
her armband.
right. Yeah,
We saw that at the beginning. We knew that was gonna.
yeah.
When it comes to
It was charming.
pays off a little later too.
It was charming to demonstrate a loss in that regard.
Yeah, puts a person behind that body.
Exactly.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm trying to say,
But I know
But you just remember
it puts a
you know
soul behind the empty body.
Yeah,
right?
you know that woman's child is at home waiting for her to come home, and Ezekiel's gonna have to break the bad news.
Surprised they didn't actually take the flower and he give it to the kid afterwards. That would have been really that would have been really cliche. But if he would
He's like,
take the
well,
flower, then by the way, she ain't coming back.
Yeah, thanks. I want my mom back. Don't want this lavender piece. I got lavender coming out the wazoo.
You'd be like, you can make some potpourri.
Yeah, got a lot to do now that you don't have a mom. So it kind of jumps back between Ezekiel and Carol at the beginning here, but I'll just continue with Ezekiel because one of the people from the kingdom, forget his name, I don't know if I ever knew his name, he comes to his aid.
Oh, the first one that comes to save him? Yeah, but I don't think we ever learned his name.
No, and he, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust that face. I thought he was evil in some way, but turns out he wasn't. He was just trying to help Ezekiel and got shot real early on.
I feel like it's just like, I too am into method acting my king.
Yeah.
And just carried him and got shot.
Yeah. And Ezekiel's kind of in shock here. I don't know if he says at this point, don't call me your king.
Right.
It's probably later on when Jerry shows up, but so this guy isn't very long for the screen because he is shot down by... Did this savior that comes up remind you of anybody?
Jeffrey Dahmer. That's who I thought of at first.
Okay, yeah, kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, the latest, the latest rendition of him, like the latest adaptation of his, like My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah.
He had the same. Like, well, who'd you think of? Oh, Jeffrey Combs?
No, I think I might be alone in this thought because I've asked a few people and nobody has the same image in my head. But he just really, for some reason, reminded me of a young Jim Carrey.
Okay,
like not necessarily
Ace
Jim
Ventura
Carrey,
hair kind of thing.
kind of, but more the face, more like the gums and the lip, the way he like curled his lips back, kind of like in The Cable Guy. Though he didn't look exactly like Jim Carrey from The Cable Guy, there was just something Jim Carrey about him.
Well,
I don't know
I would
what
say
it
the
was.
hair, like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Like the do is like that. His do is like that.
Yeah, but I'm talking more facial expressions.
Not Jeffrey Combs. I would say Jeffrey Combs after that.
No.
No.
Anyway, I don't know this guy's name, so I'm just going to call him. What should we call him? I was going to call him
Jeffrey
Carrey.
Combs.
Jeffrey Combs.
Oh no! Sorry, let's call him Dahmer.
Dahmer, sure.
Because he was intending to kill him. So
Yeah, and eat him.
right.
It probably stops there. I don't know if he was going to have any relations with him.
Yeah.
So he's taken him prisoner, and they're kind of shambling around. This guy wants to take Ezekiel back to the sanctuary because Negan has stated he wants Rick, he wants the widow, and he wants the king.
It's a hell of a nickname for Maggie.
Yeah.
The widow, like widower actually.
No, just the widow.
Oh, widower is the guy. Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry. My apologies.
No problem.
Whoops.
Yeah. You're not gonna. You can't always be right.
Oh well, I've been good thus far, so.
So we'll let them have their fun. They're just kind of going to be walking around.
No, I'm sure it was
All
fun for
these
Ezekiel.
Walkers are moving in on them, but I think they're going to be okay. Carol takes out a bunch of saviors in the building that she went into. So she takes out the shooter, probably everybody else. They're carrying these guns over to a truck because they want to bring those guns. They're the big guns.
I had a hard time believing. I'll accept it. I had a hard time believing how she killed them because she was like through the ceiling and like she managed to hit all four of them like across the room.
I didn't have a hard time believing that she was able to kill